A very entertaining doubleheader yesterday in the NBA, and if you missed out on it, well, you came to the right place. Welcome to TV's Daily NBA Recap, where we recap yesterday's NBA action in a short amount of time. Let's go. The first game I want to discuss is Game 1 of Round 2 in the Eastern Conference between the Milwaukee Bucks and the Miami Heat, in which Miami pulled up the upset, winning 115-104 behind Jimmy Butler's 40-point game. Goran Dragic scoring 27 points, dishing out 5 assists and grabbing 6 rebounds, and Bam Adebayo scoring 12 points, grabbing 17 rebounds and dishing out 6 assists. On the Milwaukee side of things, you had Giannis Antetokounmpo with 18 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists, Chris Middleton with 28 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and Brook Lopez with 24 points as well. This game looked like it was going to be a turnaround game for the Bucks, especially early, because they scored 40 points in that first quarter, and it looked like, okay, the Bucks were finding their groove. They were not completely locked in on the defensive end, but they were starting to go after it. But after the first quarter, the Miami Heat, I would like to say this, they kind of locked them up. Miami kind of locked them up because after a 40-point first quarter, they only scored 64 points the rest of the way, and that was a tribute to Miami's defense and the way that they were kind of trying to handle Giannis. Because Chris Middleton was very aggressive in the first half, scoring 22 out of his 28 points. But after that, Miami really did just kind of lock down, and they just continued to play their game. Milwaukee has no answer for Jimmy Butler, who was absolutely phenomenal in this game, scoring 40 points. And honestly, just took over late. It felt like any shot he had was just going to go in. And he had 2 threes this game. And every time I talk about him hitting threes, it's going to be about how he only shot 27% of the regular season. But for some reason, in the playoffs, he can hit those. And he said after the game, he told his teammates, I'm not passing this ball. I'm going to go up and shoot it. And he made most of it. Going 30 for 20, highly efficient. That's 65%. And he was getting help from people on the roster too, because Goran Dragic, man, this guy moved into the starting lineup after Kendrick Nunn started all year, and has been absolutely phenomenal. He was going to be the X factor going into this series to see if he can carry over his good play from the Indiana series to this series. And so far he has. 27 points, 5 assists. This guy's just crafty around the rim. Even when there's 2 shot blockers in the paint, and Brook Lopez and Giannis Antetokounmpo, he would just not even take it all the way to the rim. He has that little floater where he just can evade blocks and all that. Those 2 guys have been absolutely phenomenal in the playoffs so far, and they just continued their dominance here. And on the Bucks side of things, as much as I want to talk about that this team is good, but who's closing the game for them? Giannis can't. They're just going to keep swarming him and stuff like that. And you can see with his long strides, how dangerous it is for him to dribble. He had 2 or 3. He finished the game with 6 turnovers, and I believe 2 of those late in the game were very, very costly to the team. And Chris Middleton, man, sure, he had a really good first half, but he kind of disappeared in the second half, where he just wasn't as aggressive and stuff like that. And you can't really rely on the other people to help pick up the scraps, because that's not their role. You need your stars being your stars, and role players to kind of do their role. And Korver with 11 points off the bench, that was really nice for them. Brook Lopez chipping in 24, which is really nice. But the Heat were able to just slow down their best player, and the other guys couldn't step up, especially late in that game. And that's what kind of worries me about the Bucks this series. But Miami stuck to their game plan, and it was very, very effective. And if Jimmy Butler can continue to play this well, especially late into games, it's going to be a very, very tough series for the Bucks to win. So, great game in Miami. It was extremely entertaining. I urge you to watch the highlights, because Jimmy Butler was just absolutely phenomenal late in this game. And, it's going to be a very, very tough series. So, let's see if Milwaukee's going to be able to bounce back. Now we move on to the next series. And the OKC Thunder were able to tie this series up at 3 apiece. And it's going to a Game 7 against the Houston Rockets, because they won 104-100 behind a great fourth quarter performance from Chris Paul, as he finished with 28 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. He also got help from Gallinari, who only scored 1 point last game, bounced back in a big way, 25 points and 5 rebounds. And on the Houston side of things, James Harden, 32, 8, and 7. Russell Westbrook with 17, 4, and 3. and Covington also chipping in 18 points and 5 rebounds. This game was literally the definition of it's a game of runs, because you hear that saying in the NBA quite often, that it's a game of runs, and this game was really that. And if you just really look at the second half, you know what I mean, because it would be at times where the OKC goes on an 8-0 run, and then Houston would counteract that with a 7-0 or with a 9-0 run, and then a 7-0 run, and then they're just back and forth, and that's how it felt like throughout this game. And it was a close game throughout, and it just felt like the Houston had their chances to put it away, and they just let OKC back, and vice versa. But at the end of the game, I mean, Chris Paul was honestly just on fire. I talked about Jimmy Butler, how he couldn't miss there. Same thing with Chris Paul in the fourth quarter. Sometimes he would just kind of he had a good defender on him most of the time as well, and Robert Covington. This guy would just kind of stare him down, kind of lull him to sleep with his little dribble moves, pull up, switch in your face. There was even that one 3-pointer where he didn't even dribble. He just kind of pulled up in Covington's face, and you could tell Covington is just shaking his head, how on earth did this happen? And then Chris Paul just gave him a pat, just you tried your best. It was just that type of game. And of course, everyone is going to talk about the ending because, Russell Westbrook, it's the second game back after, his coming back from his injury. And although he had good shooting percentages this game, very careless with the basketball, 3 assists in this game to 7 turnovers. And he had the most costly one of all, because at the end of this game, the Oklahoma City Thunder were up by 2. And Russell Westbrook was, coming down the court, trying to put pressure on the defense. He does a nulled pass to Covington, who was kind of jogging up the court, and he completely missed him. Plain and simple. There was no argument. There was no one saying review. Just a clean missed pass. And a lot of people were kind of slandering him for it, because it's they had this game, they had a chance to kind of tie this game up or take the lead, and they kind of just threw it away, quite literally. And even me, I'm just why isn't the ball in James Harden's hands at that point? You want him taking the last shot. I know what Russell Westbrook's thinking. They're either going to be on him, pass out to Covington, maybe get a chance at the 3-ball, but Harden is who you want to have the ball on, and that's who you want to have the ball in the hands with that way in the game. And Russell Westbrook threw it away. And it's 7 turnovers. I mean, it's been a kind of a rough comeback start for Russell Westbrook in this, and now it's going to Game 7. I mean, Houston was up 2-0 in the series, got the game back 2-2, and last game it felt like they kind of stepped on the toes, okay, it's our turn to take the series. And they were able to capitalize today. I mean, they had good defensive plays, trust me. I mean, Harden was hustling, the Rockets were hustling, but Oklahoma City, sure, they didn't have great performances from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, only with 10 points, Schroeder with only 12. But Chris Paul came in late, Gallinari did his thing, and even Lou Dort. I mean, they left him open a lot Game 5, but come Game 6, I mean, this guy 5 for 9, even 2 for 6 threes. I mean, he went 0 for 9 the last game. So just those little things, and they were able to kind of put the pressure off the other Thunder players, and they were able to pull out the win. Cannot wait for this Game 7, because it could literally go either way. It depends on what type of Rockets we see, and if the Thunder can, get another good collective effort, because as seen in this game, I mean, Schroeder and Alexander both struggled. Chris Paul played great. Gallinari played great, but they're going to need a better team effort to win over the Rockets in the next game. But yeah, very, very entertaining series. The Rockets weren't able to really get to the line as much, only going 12 times. And it's going to be really interesting to see who wins Game 7, so cannot wait for that, which will be tomorrow night. But this is where I'm going to end today's Daily NBA Recap. Thank you guys for taking time out of your day to watch this. Remember, if you're on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe, all that good stuff. If you're on IGTV, leave a like. Also, drop a follow. That would be very much appreciated. And yeah, this is the end of today's Daily NBA Recap. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you all have a great day. Take it easy, guys. Peace.